Are you stressed out, indecisive, and confused about your career? ECPT A1 20 Minutes, world's most technologically advanced career predictive test. IBM's AI and deep learning technology will match your skills and aptitude to over 1,400 careers. Get your career tested at ecptonline.com.
A very, very good evening, everybody. Welcome back again at the Career Hour. I really hope all of you are keeping well, doing in the best, and of course, in the pinkest of your health. It's been, a wonderful journey for the last few days. In fact, this happens to be the fourth day of the Career Hour. And from the Edukai team, we are extremely happy to go ahead and give you so much of service, to give you so much of options of various career choices, each day. Having an expert speaker coming on house and talking about the different career choices. I'm really sure, all of you wonderful students, and of course your parents are able to get a lot of relativity and definitely understand the various verticals of career choices. So talking a little bit about, what exactly the Edukai ECPT is all about, I would like to give you a little bit of more glimpse. Edukai Career Predictive Test, which is otherwise called as Edukai ECPT, is a state-of-the-art career counseling service which is powered by artificial intelligence and deep learning. This new tool is a unique software product and one of the most advanced career counseling services provided by Edukai and IBM jointly. ECPT is a 120-minute AI-powered career test that has 3 segments in the module, highlighting IBM's 3A career recommendation framework, which is based on the foundation of 3 factors: attitude, aptitude, and aspiration. It definitely goes ahead and gives a very comprehensive report on 3 best fit career recommendations. Honestly, guys, it is phenomenal. This initiative is by the IndiSmart Group, Edukai, and IBM so that our students are given the right tools, attitude, and aptitude skills so that they're successful all throughout their lives, thereby reducing the depression quotient of this country. If I basically tell you about the USPs of ECPT, well, it gives you a huge, huge aid to any kind of career decisions that you can take up in your life. There is no human bias. Everything is AI-based and all predictions is based on machine learning. If I talk about the strength and of course areas of improvement, there are plenty as per the recommendations go. And definitely through its scientific theory and the approach, and in 120 minutes and the recommendations that it will be going ahead and giving you, it will be giving you a great insight. Now, if you ask me, who are the people who are actually taking the ECPT? Well, this career predictive test is being taken by students of your age or anybody who is in fact even elder to you or maybe younger to you. And it is not just meant for the students. It can also be taken up by any individual who are already taking up a career, not very happy and still want to understand what can be the various other career predictions they can have in their life. If I talk about career, well, all of us, especially during this time of pandemic, I'm sure you can understand this current prevailing circumstances. Sometimes we basically think, what can be the other particular industries that we can go ahead and choose to be in? A lot of us are confused, especially the young minds, adolescents, who really does not really know, what can be the best fitment for them in the industry. They go to counselors, they speak to them. They definitely also speak to a lot of their peers. They get influenced by their friends sometimes. And also maybe there can be a lot of influence by their own families. These kind of sometimes indecisiveness leads to a lot of results, which might not be a very happy outcome for a lot of individuals later. And same resulting maybe in mental health issues, wherein they feel depressed, they feel lonely in their careers. They do not really feel happy about what they are doing. And that can never be called, honestly, as a career. That can always be like a job, which they want to go ahead and, keep freaking in and change. And that results in a lot of dissatisfaction in life. I'm certain all of us understand that if we have a great professional life, it can also result in a wonderful personal life. And for that, We always need to know that what can be the best career option we can go ahead and accept in our life. There was a time when we only had people around us letting us know what to do. A lot of us coming from different backgrounds, we have had the influence, just like I said, by their families, parents, most of the times, who definitely, especially in the Indian households, had a lot of hand in letting people know what they can do best. Youngsters never really had the choice of understanding themselves what can be the best for them, especially in a country that we are in, our beautiful country, India. Sometimes, honestly, we did not really give a lot of, you can say, onus and importance to other verticals, like maybe becoming a sportsman, maybe, taking up a vertical like, say, fashion designing, or maybe even carpentry, which is, in fact, if you talk about the Western countries or many such countries, there's a lot of verticals and sub-verticals, you can say, in career choices that people can actually go ahead and take. Today, with the launch of ECPT, which is in fact an amalgamation of ideas of both IBM and Edugai, we have gone ahead and kept this wonderful test, this 120 test, only spending about 2 hours, say, this beautiful, serious, predictive test, which will help you understand through your personality, through your aptitude, and definitely your aspirations, what can be the various recommendations being given to you for your career choices. Maybe you never thought that you can be an artist. Maybe you never thought that you can be a musician. Maybe you never thought you can be, a wedding planner. And this predictive test will help you analyze and think that, yes, these can be the wonderful recommendations which you can choose up tomorrow and maybe see, you never know how successful you can go ahead and make yourself. So that's about, the importance of ECPT in one's life. And I'm sure this test tomorrow, which is going to be so phenomenal, will go ahead and draw a lot of attention of youngsters, adolescents, students, professionals, young professionals, and also parents. And why not just them? I'm sure even schools would love this particular concept that we are going to be going ahead and helping them with, wherein they'll be able to propose this idea to their students. And that will lead to a very, very happy counseling for their career progressions in life. So that was about Edugai, that was about ECPT. Career Hour, which is basically an initiative taken by ECPT and definitely Edugai, is basically in front of you to help you choose and understand about various careers that you can take in. In today's life, wherein it is no more, only thinking about being an engineer or a medical science student or maybe a hospitality professional. So apart from the traditional career choices, we're also bringing in through this career hours, the different other verticals of career choices that you can basically think of. And if you think there's a fitment of your personality and your aptitude together with this test, you never know, this career can become yours. So today, honestly, happens to be one career choice, which is very, very close to my heart: law, legal systems. So if I talk about law as a career, in today's modern society, the society that we live in, there are two professionals which I always think that would never really lose importance in any individual's life: a doctor and a lawyer. You never really know when you need one, and you really need one to trust. As a career, a degree in law not only lets you practice as a lawyer in the courts, in the company, but also opens up career options in sectors like, say, the corporate management, legal services, solicitor firms, and administrative services. If you ask me, is law a good option? Well, it is a very secure job. If you're a good lawyer and you've made, a good name for yourself in the legal circus, because people will always need legal advice and help. However, all the obstacles are more or less there in almost every profession, but the respect that lawyers get is beyond imagination. One of the most respectable professionals alive and existing is law. Today, in-house, we are extremely happy and proud to have amongst us a speaker of the day, Mr. Rajneesh Singh, who has been teaching and mentoring in law since 19 years. He holds a postgraduate degree in management from IIT Day and economics BHU. He has been a batch topper. He has authored 5 books so far for CLAT and CSAT. He's a founder of CLAT Essentials, CLATGK.com, CLATMock.com, CLAT Hacker, and the DoZen. He's worked with Dabur India Limited in branding, in Career Launcher as a city head Kolkata, and in IMS Learning Services as National Product Head. A very, very hearty and warm welcome to our speaker, Mr. Rajneesh Singh.
Dear parents, dear students, whoever is present in the webinar, in fact, today the agenda is I'll very briefly talk about law as a career. What are the avenues, like what are all best law colleges in India, how you can enter, what are the examinations, what are the prospects, the placements, and everything about law as a career, right? Let me begin with law as a career as far as law has been is concerned. But before that, it's very vital to make you understand that while choosing a career, what exactly you look for. What you look for is that it should be a career which should be lucrative enough. It should, from being lucrative, it should be also something which you enjoy the most, right? So suitability, this as a career, what exactly demands from you? Does it demand what is the nature of the job? Is it very suitable for you or not? And is this a career which is going to give you rewards in long term? I mean, what we use that is fine and everything is fine, and say it is a career which gives you satisfaction. Reward for a long period. So that sustainability is also required in that career. Let us look at the background of this law as a career. Law as a career except few decades when we saw some downtrends of this particular career. If we look at from since independence, law became the prime career. The reason was very obvious. Since our independence, what came into and the main importance was constitution. And since then, law became very prominent career and it remained for 2, 3, 4, 5 decades. Very recently, particularly in this particular century, in the 21st century, there were already 3 national law schools established. National Law School, Bangalore, National Law School Hyderabad, and National Law School Kolkata and Bhopal. There were 4 national law schools, in fact, as established by year 2000. And since then, the journey began, and gradually this started picking up, and this became a very, very prominent career. Now, if I look at the history, how exactly, like before National Law School, that is National Law School of Bangalore, started in 1988, if I'm not wrong, or maybe 1987. Now, this concept of 5-year BLLB, even BCom LLB or BB LLB are also available these days. But this concept of 5-year integrated course came up much later, I said you. And from year 2000, a lot of other national law schools also started. But then what was before? Before it was that you graduate, like in US and UK, still the most popular law degree is not after +2. It is still after graduation. So you are a lucky person, and it is actually much. According to the new education policy, it is fortunately that we are on a degree course. We call time, because if you are already decided you have to go for law, it is better to choose from from 12th itself. I understand that a lot of students, most of you are from 11th and 12th standard, or maybe from 9th and 10th standard also. It is quite good time that, yeah, I'll try to answer the queries in case it is coming. I'll just brief I'll brief some of the things which is actually essentially to be conveyed, right? Sanchari,
yes, Mr. Singh.
To convey something, you can message me, right?
Yes,
because
definitely.
I'm not able to hear.
Yeah, so questions.
Just talking about that, previously it used to be graduation plus, previously it used to be graduation and then 3-year LLB, right? Now this 5-year LLB, it is like, previously it was 3 plus 3, 6 years. Now it is 5 years. That means it is integrated course and you are saving also a time. How it is like an BBA and MBA is integrated, or maybe BTech and MTech is integrated. It was already a popular course. Similarly, this particular thing has started. Now, as far as what you call as a career is concerned, like how is law as a career, and I'll come back to the courses after this, how you can enter. But let me first. So law as a career is something which kind of students should choose, right? And how it is distinct from other careers. So it is very, very, very important to understand what does a lawyer do. Let's see from a very, very general perspective, and let's not stick to something what usually we understand what a lawyer is. A lawyer we understand as usually that someone who fights a case in the court, and what you call fights for the justice, right? Lawyer is much beyond that. Lawyer is more of a problem solver. So as far as the nature of the job is concerned, you need to be someone who is who loves to solve problems, who is someone who can logically deduce something, who can analyze the problem, who can deduce something, put some very sound logics behind whatever you say. And to do that, there's a lot of hard work which goes on behind. Like you must be wondering that, okay, one lawyer is coming to a court and is appearing for half an hour, 30 minutes, 10 minutes, maybe for an hour. It is not. It is much beyond that. Maybe there is hundreds of hours of work of research which was required, which the person's team or a set of people do that. So it is not merely just that 30 minutes or 20 minutes for that the person is charging. You are thinking about it. So if I want to describe you as a lawyer's work, it is definitely a lot of reading. So you need to be good at English. It is a lot of research. It is also why it becomes so fascinating, because it is very challenging, and every time it is very new. It is not very static thing what you are doing. The nature of problem which people will bring you will be very diversified. So there will be a person who will have a problem of wants a divorce, or there is a dispute of land. There is a dispute. There is a criminal charges. There are criminal charges, or there could be some corporate issues, right? So I mean, the nature of the problem can be very, very diversified. The lawyer's work, what is required is, although you could be in many fields, it is very, very diversified. Like say you might be working in Pepsi as a lawyer, then what can be your work? There itself, within that organization, your work may diversify right from taxation, within law, it could be related to land. It can be, you might be representing your company for a criminal charge, or you could be representing your company for some other company filed a case against you because the advertisement was faulty, right? And they're claiming some damages because of that. So law is everywhere, law is required, and this is why it is not just a company can keep you as a lawyer. A law firm can hire you. A law firm is a group of lawyers, and they pay you very high. Like it goes in a range of around 14 to 22 lakh per annum in India, as far as the recent placement scenario is concerned of the top 10 national law schools. But you can also go for some government jobs, like you can join army, you can join banks, and every government organization needs a lawyer. There are a lot of foreign law firms opportunities, and even you can go abroad. There are a lot of opportunities, like you can work in UNICEF, even UN bodies, they require a lawyer. Times of India would require a lawyer. I mean, what I'm trying to tell you is that the law as a career is very, very diversified. Now, if you're really looking law as a career, you need to check that I'm a person who loves to read and write. Am I a person when people appreciate when I speak and I talk a lot of sense. Talking a lot of sense means you are very logical, you are very methodological, and you analyze things very well. If you're someone like that, then definitely you are very fit for being a lawyer. I have already talked about that. There is a 5-year degree course which has become very popular in India. And this is only, I think India would be one of few countries where this 5-year LLB has become popular. So that is what I was saying, that you are lucky that instead of 3-year LLB, now 5-year LLB has become extremely popular. Now, what is the exam which is associated with this? But before that, let me tell you, there are 22 national law schools in India. Plus, there is one more national law school, Delhi. So altogether, you have 23 national law school. Why did I talk about Delhi separately? Because Delhi conducts a separate exam, and all national law schools are through CLAT. There are a few private law schools also that, like Jindal Global Law School, for which you have to take an exam called LSAT India. You have Symbiosis Law Schools. For that, there is a separate exam that is called SLAT. You have several government exams also, government law school exams also. Like you have for Maharashtra, there is a combined exam that is CT Maharashtra. You have government law school that is GLC Mumbai, which is a very famous law school. You have ILS Pune. You have other government law schools like BHU, AMU. These are central universities which also conducts their separate entrance test for their 5-year BLLB or maybe BCom LLB or BBLLB courses. BBLLB is coming up very well along with BBLLB. BCom LLB is also becoming popular. If you have a query that what does this BLLB means, it is very simple. You are graduating in humanities and plus you are also completing your LLB degrees. Actually, you get 2 degrees together. Similarly, if you are going for BBLLB, then it is management, like you graduate in management and then you are completing LLB. Once you complete this 5-year course from all these good, any of these colleges, and particularly from good colleges, placement scenario day by day is becoming great, because law is also a career which doesn't get much affected by slowdowns. Particularly in these times also, if you see, none of whoever got a campus placement last year, usually this top national law school, you will get placed by the end of the 4th year. Majority of the people are placed. But if this is not a top law school, still in top 20 or 25 or 30 law schools, everyone gets placed at least. And placement should not be a criteria. Also, it is more, you should actually more focus on building up yourself. If you're really good at it, obviously there are, as I said that there are diversified opportunities, and you will definitely find out one if you really have been enriching yourself well. Now, if I try to make you understand about these exams, as I said that CLAT is an exam which is required for all national law school. There is ALET for National Law School of Delhi. What exactly is asked in this exam and how you need to prepare is that what is the majority of the things what is asked is what we all have studied in school. The 5 sections or the 5 subjects which are asked are English. In English is mostly dominated by reading comprehension in CLAT, which is their comprehension. In fact, entire CLAT is passage based, be it any subject. But apart from reading comprehension in other exams, also you may be asked with little bit of grammar, little bit of common error, or maybe parajumbles, or fill in the blanks, something like that. And that means overall your English capability will be actually tested. As far as mathematics is concerned, mathematics is considerably low in number in almost all these entrance tests, including CLAT. CLAT has 10% mathematics, And that too, this year they have changed it a lot. They are focusing more on data computation and simple mathematics. This is a good news because then a lot of mugging up and other things have been considerably reduced in other sections also. After mathematics, you have reasoning, which is very, very important. 25% of the paper is reasoning, and in majority of like LSAT or other exams, where reasoning actually dominates, almost 50% of the paper is reasoning. Reasoning has various qualities. Let's not get into detail, but reasoning is something which is very important, and it will be quite new for you in case you have not participated in Olympiads or have seen all the past year papers, or if you have not gone through some reasoning questions of some entrance test which is before 10th standard. Now, okay, these are the three subjects. The fourth subject is legal reasoning, which sound a little legal, but there's nothing legal about it. You don't need to know any legalities. The CLAT is very clear that they do not want you to mug up things. They want you to understand things. And it is very important that you understand and reason out. So understanding means you need to have a very good comprehending ability. You need to have very good reasoning ability. So for that reason, in the legal reasoning, it is something like that. Some issues like, say, for example, data protection law, or the judgment which was passed for Ayodhya, or triple talaq, or something, a passage will be given, and based on that, all laws, whatever are written there, based on that, you'll have to answer a few questions, make some judgments, right? So this way they try to understand that how well you can comprehend things, how you can understand things, what is being said to you, and how you can reason out the things. Then again, the fifth and the last section is GK, which is again 25% of the paper, like legal reasoning. And this 25%, that means GK also, what they are doing is they are trying to touch all the very important topics, something like which I said for legal reasoning, that is Ayodhya issue. But then that is more of a legality, but Ayodhya issue is also about social impact, right? But you need to also read a lot about environment, maybe about the natural disaster which is coming up. So whatever you see around, which is very much in news, and it is very, very relevant for any common person to know, that becomes very relevant for CLAT. So they also want to test you whether you are a person who have a knowledge-seeking attitude, right? Are you a person who love to keep gaining knowledge about whatever is going on around, right? So this is what is being tested.
So, Mr. Rajneesh, there's a question for you. Can we opt for law later on if we are from the science stream? There's a student, Apratim Haldar, is asking, can we opt for law later on if we are from the science stream? Sure. I'll explain everything.
What has happened is there is often a confusion that because of previously we had only 3-year LLB courses. So the problem was that we understand after graduation. So it needs to be very clear that when you're going for a 5-year BLLB, which I explained that now this has become very, very popular. So this 5-year BLLB course, whichever stream you are from, even a lot of science students, you might be surprised that 50% to 60% of the science graduates are getting into the top 3 national law schools. That means, and it has nothing to do, whichever stream you are coming, it is going to help you in that way. Say, for example, someone is from humanities, so understands, say, history, political science, socio-economic, political understanding is very important for a lawyer. At the same time, if someone has a science background, I mean, say in 11th and 12th standard, you have studied a little bit of science. In that sense, what happens if you later choose for IPR, say patent law, right? Your specialization is towards patent law. In that case, intellectual property rights. Then there's a good possibility that science background will help you. It is not a necessity, nor is that you can't learn later. but then it helps a lot. If you're from commerce background, it helps a lot when you are dealing with commercial things, like, because you know that corporate law has become very important. Nowadays, this boom in this law is a career which has started giving you so much of salary and other things. This is mainly because of the corporate law boom. There's a lot of expenditure, like almost now last year 30,000 crore was spent in corporate world on law only. So because of that, this has become. So if you have commerce in 11th and 12th, it will help you. It is not that if someone from humanities will not understand corporate law, but then if you are from commerce background, it eases to understand business and economy, and hence it makes you that way. Now, as far as that, say, if you have graduated in science and then later you want to say go for law, right? So if you have graduated in science, then there is an option of 3-year LLB. But as I suggested, 3-year LLB is gradually losing the charm, and the majority of the best students are actually almost going to this course only of 5-year, because it's already pre-decided. Placements are coming in good number. So this is why. So all the streams, like every stream, the law is suitable, because from every stream, lawyers are required, because law is so diversified, right? Yeah. Now, by the time other question comes, I will just I'll just complete the last part. So as I said you that these are the national law schools for which these entrance tests are taken. Now, what are these top national law universities? I'll just name them. Bangalore is the best one, which started the earliest, which is 1988. And second best is Nalsar, Hyderabad. Third best is NUJS, Kolkata. NLU Delhi, which conducts its own exam, is almost at par with NUJS in real terms also, in NRF ranking also, as well as in students' popularity index also. By that I mean how the students are actually rating, because there is a particular cutoff which goes for these national law schools. Studying in these 4 national law schools, or to an extent even Bhopal, Jodhpur or Gandhinagar, all these 7 national law schools you are studying, and particularly in this top 4, this means that job is not at all a problem. Like the elite top 3 IITs or IIMs, the placement has now become almost the same. Like it becomes, in fact, it has surpassed IIT in terms of placement already. So those things are not at all of worry. Don't worry about it. It is more about try to secure in a seat in top 15 or 20 national law schools and few private law colleges. Your career will be extremely bright, extremely bright. Right.
Mr. Singh, I presume there are no more questions, but then the main questions were mainly, them focusing on which stream they can join from. So one you have very beautifully talked about, which was, of course, from the science stream. Somebody also asks, after taking up commerce in their +2, if they can go ahead with law or not.
+2, can you repeat the last part once again?
Yes. Can somebody join law or take CLAT? After having a commerce background?
Yeah, I mean, this is what I said, that for joining for a 5-year LLB, obviously any stream can go. But say if someone has graduated in commerce, then also yes, there is a 3-year LLB option, which is the best option for 3-year LLB are the colleges. DU has a very good degree course in Delhi, that is 3-year course, as well as all the central universities. Plus also Symbiosis has 3-year LLB, Jindal Global Law School has 3-year LLB, we have Government Law College, GLC Bombay has 3-year LLB, and all across India and all government colleges have 3-year LLB, but the reputed ones are mostly the central universities like BHU, AMU, Jamia Islamia, and there are some private law schools. So that option also can be availed.
All right, so that was Mr. Rajneesh Singh, ladies and gentlemen, and I think he has given a great insight on law, and it was so wonderful to have him here today to speak to everybody. So before I go ahead and of course, call in our next legal expert who would be going ahead and answering a lot of your questions, we would like to basically call in for a small commercial break. Could we have my IT team go ahead and play the video, please?
Are you stressed out, indecisive, and confused about your career? ECPT A1 20 Minutes, world's most technologically advanced career predictive test. IBM's AI and deep learning technology will match your skills and aptitude to over 1,400 careers. Get your career tested at ecptonline.com.
Wonderful. Before I move ahead and call in our next guest, I would like to basically let you know that thank you so much for all your support. It has been an overwhelming response from a lot of students and parents in the last couple of days. And I think because of this huge support, we are really, really happy to go ahead and continue with this career hour almost every day, with new careers coming to you every day. So I would like now to basically have this amazing, a time of going ahead and welcoming our career expert from Eduguide team, who would be basically talking about law again in loads of questions and answers. In fact, there are a lot of questions which is in fact coming from a lot of students who are in fact here today with us and also on the different social media circles. And I would like to basically call and invite Mr. Sameer Mehta. Mr. Sameer Mehta, welcoming you here in the Eduguide Career Hour. It is really wonderful to have you here today. And I really hope that, the answers that you will have to basically give to a lot of questions being put up by those students and of course, a lot of parents as well in the career of law would go ahead and help them progress in life.
I hope so too.
Wonderful. So we will not be wasting much time and going ahead for the first question of the hour. And that would be, Mr. Mehta, what is the starting point for a legal career in India?
Honestly, if you heard Mr. Singh speak, it was fantastic. Actually, I must say Mr. Singh is really, really well read on this. Legally, for legal careers, students should apply for CLAT. They should, I would also actually support the fact that the students should give their should sit for the 5-year graduation for LLB instead of going ahead with the 3-year graduation. That's actually, you complete your graduation and then you again pursue 3 years in India. It does not make sense. If you have thought of ensuring that you're going ahead into legal as a career, better option would be that you do the 5-year course and immediately get into the legal strata. Now, careers in legal is not just about being an advocate, not just about fighting in the court. There are a lot of things that lawyers do today. Notary public is one of the most common ones that people do, right? Simultaneously, you could become an arbitrator. You could specialize in very specific forms of laws, like taxation laws, like commercial laws, corporate law, commercial law, similar. Today, upcoming is the cyber law, which you can specialize in. And that does not require you specifically to stand in court and say, my lord, but automatically what it supposes is you guide individual people, you guide individual companies into practicing the things the right way, follow the constitution and what is supposed to be done. So that is what law entails as a whole. And of course, because there are so many branches, you can decide what you want to do in law and go further ahead and then specialize like I have just mentioned. So there are a lot of branches of law that exist. And I mean, you can always aim high. My personal goal is that I want to become a judge. So I'm working on it. I still want to become a judge. Becoming a judge is a very different field. You have to be an advocate for 7 years. Then you have to give the judicial services examination, which is organized by the Public Service Commission. And after that, there's a collegium of judges that suggests you to the Chief Justice and the President of India. And if you get lucky there, you become a high court judge, which is my goal.
Wonderful. Mr. Mehta, in fact, when I was just listening to Mr. Singh today, and he was mostly talking about CLAT because he happens to be the national CLAT mentor. And definitely he was talking about the best colleges in India. And of course, even, taking up the LSAT and going abroad and taking up that too. Now, a lot of students, again, cannot really go ahead and take up the test sometimes, or maybe they're taking the test, but then they're not coming up to the, best rankings wherein they can be chosen by NALSA, or they can be chosen by NLU Bangalore, or any of those. Now, a lot of these students, because of the passion that they have for law, go ahead and enroll themselves in a lot of public universities also. How much do you think is the, progression in their life with law? How much can they do? And how much do you think that that can help them in their life? Do you think there is some difference that it can actually make?
See, among the top universities, definitely the national law universities are considered the best, which he named, about 23 of them. But that's not it. There are a lot of private colleges out there which perform excellently in terms of law. Jindal School is one of the best in the country. You have Nirma University in Ahmedabad, which is considered really good. So there are a lot of private universities which give fantastic law education, and the placements are also great. It's not that you just have to pass out from National Law School or National Law University or NALSA to get a very good placement. Definitely, there are a lot of other ways. In fact, there are universities in our country, good universities in our country, which do not have separate tests. The ones which I just named have their individual tests. Symbiosis has SLAT, then you have, Jindal has its own entrances. So these universities have their own entrance tests, which are not associated with CLAT. That said, there are universities which actually permit you to enter based upon your class 12th performance as well. Technically, if you have not scored below 45% in your class 12th, whichever stream, you have the ability to sit for law. Of course, if you are, if these universities base it upon the class 12th performance, obviously it's the better. The better the percentage, the higher ranking you get, and you get chosen. So options are many. Don't think that it's just National Law School and the end of it. There are many. So, and some very good judges in this country have actually come out from Nirma University, which is a private university. So you just need to consider your options there.
No, that is very encouraging, because sometimes what happens is it just kind of gropes in someone's mind. And if they're not able to get through the best, then they might tarnish that particular, passion for that profession and maybe not become a lawyer at all, or maybe take up law. And I think what you basically said was really important. And in that, I would like to merge another question. That is about the, additional proficiency that somebody needs, apart from preparing for CLAT, which I would be asking you to, talk about a little bit more, maybe apart from what Mr. Singh already said. What is a proficiency that somebody needs to have, and also the general aptitude? Like, say, for example, someone who argues a lot, maybe I've seen, I've in fact heard, people always say that, they've got a great flair of becoming a part of the legal system. I don't know how much that's true. And I would like to know from you, what do you think about it?
The most important part about studying law is that you need to have your logic in place. So if you are aggressive, I would actually suggest do not go for becoming an advocate. It's actually an advocate. I'm sure if you have interacted with an advocate, you realize and advocates are probably one of the calmest people you will ever meet, because they do not get hyper. They will not start, shouting at the top of their voice. No, they don't do that. Being logical is more important, because trust me, the constitution of our country has been built on such a fashion that it is very logical. So if you have logic in place, you will do fantastic as a lawyer. I mean, I can't put it better than Mr. Singh. He said that lawyers are problem solvers, and that is true. The concept of a lawyer is not about going and fighting. The concept of a lawyer is trying to ensure that if you have a problem, let us solve it the right way. Let us not become wild. Let us not become hooligans. Let us solve the problem the right way. So let us follow the constitution. Problems can arise, but let's find out how to ensure that problem does not take a nasty turn. And that's why lawyers are so famous today. I mean, careers in law, I'll give you an example. I'm sure you've heard of this. You might have heard of this law firm. It's called Amarchand Mangaldas. Amarchand Mangaldas happens to be one of the top-notch law firms in our country today. You know how much they pay an associate of a lawyer? It's between 15 to 17 lakhs per annum. Now, why that amount of money is being paid is because they choose the very best, and the ideology is that these people solve everybody's problems. So the biggies of this country come to them and they solve their problems. So do not think that there's any specification. It's, yeah, what is required is you need to be able to speak. You don't have to pressurize somebody else, but you need to be able to speak. English is considered a very good option. You have to have good command over the language. You need to understand logic and reasoning. So in fact, CLAT also has logic and reasoning as a part of its entrance examination. Similarly, English is a part of the entrance examination. Legal reasoning, which is generally a case study, also checks the logic component of a student. Right? And of course, general knowledge, general awareness is very, very important. These 4 subjects, if they are done properly, and mathematics. Now, mathematics is not the high funda mathematics. Very honestly, I do not come from that background. If you could give me something about integration and differentiation, I would turn around and I would run away. That's not how I would do. But the mathematics that is involved with CLAT is generally to do with more of statistics, more of understanding numbers, more of being able to read numbers well. So if you have done your maths well till class 10th, you're good to go. So these are the subjects that you should be proficient in. There are a lot of coaching centers that are today available, which help you crack law examinations. Some of the better ones, there is something called Clatapult. There is something called Legal Edge. These are some good ones that are available in our country. Top rankers, Time is a good institution which provides education for law. So Pathfinder is also one. So I mean, these, if you want to go ahead with coaching for law, I would suggest you choose one of these centers because they will give you practice. And of course, practice for any examination will always make it perfect. Hope that answers the question.
I'm sure. Yes, absolutely it does. In fact, I have another question in my mind, and that is, can somebody actually go ahead and take up law course even without taking up CLAT and just with the 12 board examinations? Is that possible?
Yes, like I said before, there are universities. There are private universities, mostly not government universities, which take students for law without without taking any examination. So if they have passed their class 12th and if basic requirement is you have to have 45% marks across, it has to be a board which is centrally recognized or which is recognized by the state, then 45% marks in aggregate. You have to clear all your subjects one go. And yeah, of course, these are the basic criteria. But like I said, like if you have 80%, then definitely you have a better chance. If you have a 50%, you have a lesser chance. But there are universities that can actually give you that benefit.
Lovely. I have another very interesting question with me, and that is, what's a bar exam? You know, what do you basically define by a bar exam? You know, a lot of people want to know exactly, you know, what the Bar Council is and how you basically become a part of it. And what significance does that have for someone interested in law as a career in India?
So, when you are passing LLB in your final year, you're supposed to give an examination which is by the Bar Council of India. And this is the examination which justifies. Once you've cleared this examination, you kind of get a pass. So whichever state you're applying to practice law in, you can, I mean, it becomes like a pass into that state. And you're permitted or licensed to practice law in that state based upon your passing of Bar Council of India. And that alone makes it a very important aspect of law. Because if you want to pursue law as a career, it's very important for you to clear law. Now, the clear Bar Council of India does not mean that every career option requires the Bar Council of India stamp. If you, like I said, if you just want to become, let's say, a notary public, you are not required to clear the Bar Council of India exam. However, what I have generally seen, and which makes sense, is that everybody who goes and studies through law would like to keep their options open. I'm sure all of us do. So why not give the examination, clear it, and have that additional option in hand?
Wonderful. Very brilliantly said. Thank you so much for that. And I have the next question with me, and that is, in India, how monetarily lucrative is a career in law? I'm sure everybody wants to know about it, Mr. Mehta.
The money question. It entirely depends upon how you're getting placed, very candidly. On an average, the salaries may range from, the starting salaries may range from 3 to 4 lakhs a month, per annum. But then as you rise with law, the benefit is the greater network that you have, the greater reach that you have. And if you've gone through the right channels, the right place, you will definitely rise a lot. So like I was giving you the example of Amarchand Mangaldas. So an associate makes a salary of around 17 lakhs. Senior advocate makes close to 34 lakhs per annum. So those are the kind of figures you are looking at. And then, of course, I mean, it's a progression. A lot of people do not actually want to give the judicial services examination because they're happy and satisfied with what they're getting in terms of being an advocate. However, some want that additional benefit. They go ahead, become judges. Becoming a judge is not just monetarily very satisfactory. I personally feel, I think the satisfaction, it derives from the fact that you are in a position to help people get justice. And that makes a lot of difference to me. I believe it's not just the monetary value. Monetary value obviously comes. And I'm sure it comes with every profession that you might want to choose. But with law, the benefit that comes is that you are in the position to help people all around. Everybody can come to you with their problems, and you have the power to help, to ensure that system helps that person. And I think that satisfaction makes law a very lucrative offer.
Wonderful. I have the last few questions with me, and I think I do not want to part with these questions with having somebody like you, an legal expert in law, being here. It doesn't happen every day. So I'll be going for the next question right now, and that is, what are the different kind of career options, you can basically talk, after graduating with law?
One of the easiest ones is, of course, litigation. Litigation means the court business. But let me not go into the court business. Court business is there. You can become a civil law. You can become a civil lawyer. You can become a criminal lawyer. It depends on your ideology and what you are more comfortable with. But like I said, there are other options. There is corporate law. So you need not become a part of the courtroom. You would actually help a company do the right thing. Help a company ensure that they're following the right protocols. There are labor laws, there are corporate laws, the Industries Act, the Factories Act. Whatever needs to be followed should be followed. Right? So you can you can practice corporate law, you can practice commercial law, you can practice taxation law, you can or of course, you can become a part of a law firm. So law firms, you need to understand, they are like a group of law individuals, lawyers, who will help you out across all different legal requirements. Could be litigation, could be public interest litigations, could be corporate law, could be taxation, could be cyber laws. So all these different options are always open. Now, beyond this, I have seen quite a lot of my batchmates who decided to pursue law, and after law, they decided to go into the public service commissions. So they gave UPSC examinations, and they're serving the country in a very different format. They're now into administrative services, they're into foreign services. So that is another branch which can be chosen with slight bit of more studies, of course. And yeah, so I mean, multiple variations of law.
Amazing. In fact, Samir, I want to ask you, this was in fact in my mind for a long time. After graduating with law, after basically serving about 5 years in law, do you still recommend, going ahead and doing an MBA?
Why not? I won't say it is compulsory because it depends on your career choice. If you were to go for if you were to specialize in corporate law, I would suggest you go for an MBA. If you want to come out of law practice, want to become an entrepreneur, I would suggest you go for an MBA. But if you want to stick to law, if you want to ensure that your career progresses only in law, then a master's, an LLM becomes a better choice. So it entirely depends upon how you see yourself. See, in the end, it's the student's choice. Nobody can force a student to do something. It's the student's choice to decide what path they want to choose for themselves. If they want to choose that they would go ahead into corporate law, managing becomes a very important part of that study. So MBA plays a very important role there. But you may not decide to do that. You may want to go for cyber laws. In that case, you might want to pursue LLM and know more about science stream. Right? So MBA, I would suggest that depends upon your requirement, how you're seeing your path grow.
Lovely. I think we're almost nearing the time, and I really hate it because, this is such an interesting session and with so much of learning. So I would like to basically stick to one last question of the hour, and that would be, do you recommend somebody practicing law, as maybe in his own personal chamber, or would you recommend them to basically start working for a firm or maybe in the courtroom earlier? What do you say?
As a fresher, please join a firm. You need to learn. Experience matters a lot in law, and you would learn a lot from observing the seniors. The seniors, when how they tackle, how they handle. There are a lot of nitty-gritties which you may not be able to learn at the time of college, but you will when you are there on the shop floor or in the courtroom. So it makes a lot of sense for you to be in a place which helps you observe. You might want to join public prosecution. It doesn't matter. But learn the right way. Learn it. Learn from the seniors. See how things are progressing. And after you have understood, after you believe that you are done, after you know that you can stand alone in a courtroom and handle, you have that confidence, then, and only then, please establish your own practice. Because then you will have, it's not just about the confidence, it is also about your name being there in the market. Everybody needs to know who you are before they will start coming to you. So to ensure that happens, you need to be with somebody who knows the entire process of law. So I would suggest you actually learn from a law firm. Law firm is the best. That is the best option to start off. And if you get selected for a law firm, do not give that away. First learn. And once you learn, even if you want to apply to become a judge, it is compulsory that you are an advocate for at least 7 years. Only after those 7 years will you be permitted to sit for the judicial services examination. Why do you think that is? That is because even the system believes that you first need experience to proceed on to the next step. So get that experience with a firm and then proceed on to your own practice.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Mr. Mehta. It was wonderful having Mr. Sameer Mehta, our legal expert from the Educate team, who, of course, went ahead and answered so many questions, on the law. And of course, before that, predominantly, we've had a wonderful session by none other than Mr. Rajneesh Singh, the National Law Mentor, who came and, of course, spoke a lot about law business. So thank you very much, Sameer, for this wonderful evening. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much today for being a part of the EduGuide Career Hour and of course the Careers in Law. I am sure all of you have had a very, very lucrative 1 hour, thinking about law, hearing about law and knowing so much about law. And I'm certain all of you are looking forward, the ones who are of course preparing themselves for CLAT and of course for the next year as well, would be gaining a lot from today's session. So thank you so much for that. And tomorrow, again, is going to be another very interesting career hour. And we're going to be talking on the careers in Bollywood. So, this is something which is very unique, and I'm certain a lot of people who wants to be artists, who want to basically do a lot in the world of maybe, cinema, and of course, Bollywood, will be able to get a lot of idea through the guest speaker who would be in house here tomorrow. So do not forget, this is the time, 8 o'clock tomorrow again. And I would request now my IT team to go ahead and play, certain insight of the particular program tomorrow, and of course on ECPT. Can we have the AVs, please? Wonderful. So here we are here once again, and thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, all the wonderful students who have in fact joined us from all over the country, all over the world in this career hour. And please support us. Please do not forget to go ahead and like our page on Facebook, which is ECPT. It is very important for you to go ahead and like that, so that, whenever you need to know about what exactly is happening with ECPT and with EduGuide, you get all the information out there, and not just on Facebook. We're also there in all the other social circles and YouTube as well. Please go ahead and like it, and of course, spread the word. And here are the contact details of our ECPT team. And of course, if you want to visit and if you want to know more about us, do not forget, get a hold of all these details here, and we shall be seeing you again very soon tomorrow at the Career Hour. Thank you very much. And this is Sanchari Chaudhary giving you a big adieu from here at Bangalore, along with my entire colleagues from all over the country of EduGuide. That's a great, great evening ahead. Thank you so much for joining us. See you tomorrow once again at 8 p.m. Do not forget.